TitleMatchNetwork.com.
First of all, they called a bunch of us when we were at home on our days off, asked us if we want to do this Brawl for All. I said, what are the rules? They said, well, you can kick, you can punch, you can take people down. I said, I'm allowed to kick people. I said, you mean I can shin kick, I can leg kick? I mean, like Muay Thai fighting. And they said, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. That was my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my main thing is Muay Thai, leg kicking. And so I'm like, okay, well, we get the TV. Well, I'm the only one that wanted the leg kick out of the other, all 16 guys there. So they nixed the leg kick. And I'm like, now you told me on the phone I could kick, I got worked into that one. So anyway, I still didn't believe it was even a shoot until the night of the fight. I honestly didn't. They kept telling me it was a pro. I'm thinking, we're not going to be out there boxing and wrestling, and amateur wrestling. I just didn't believe it. When we got there and they pulled the gloves out of the boxes, and we have these giant new 16-ounce gloves on and stuff like that. I'm like, I guess it is for real tonight. So I hadn't trained at all or done anything.
Oh, you didn't train for it or anything?
Not the first one. I didn't.
Okay.
I did deep down. I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
So I thought they were working me or something. Anyway, so we get there. Well, I know Mark's a good boxer, and I decent boxing skills. But I mean, I just kept taking him down, kept shooting on him. But it's hard with those giant mittens on your hand. They were brand new out of the plastic. It was like trying to take people down with your hands like this.
Yeah.
We only went 3 1-minute rounds. I think I took him down 13 times.
Yeah.
But and then I got a couple of good shots off him, quite pretty good. But I knew he'd be hard to catch on the chin. He's pretty good at keeping his chin down. Pretty good with his hands moving. And if you actually want to get down to it, if it was MMA rules, it wouldn't last long. Yeah. But if it was strictly boxing, he'd have the upper hand boxing just about anybody because he has good boxing skills. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So you thought all the way up until the night of the fight that you were able to leg kick and
oh yeah. Well, no. Was it the day of the fight? It might have been the day of the fight.
Wow.
Oh yeah, but and I used to practice those things all the time. I used to do like 200 leg kicks a day. Yeah. Just get faster and faster and faster with them. And I was like, okay, well, I can leg kick, and there's nobody going to get close to me with their hands. No leg kicking.
Now, we talked to Bart. We did an interview with Bart Gunn. I guess it was a couple months ago, maybe even last year sometime. And we talked a lot about it. And he was saying that it was pretty much designed to get Steve Williams over the tournament. And did you get that vibe going in that it was to get Doc over? Or?
It's possible. Now, after I fought Mark and I realized it was real, then I went home and started training my butt off. Yeah. I had a ring. So I called one of my friends who was an amateur wrestler. He was about 6'3", 330 pounds. Mm-hmm. And we were in the ring wrestling. And I had some of the smaller guys shooting on me. So we're training our butt off for this. Well, he did a sit-out throw on me and sat in the side of my leg and almost broke my leg in half. And I tore all the cartilage in my leg, so I had to get my knee scoped. And now I'm pissed off because I wanted to fight in it after, at that point. Anyway, so that's why I didn't continue in it. But Bart's probably right. They probably thought Steve would coast through it. But I had done stuff like that my whole life. So did Ken. So is Bart. Bart's actually got good amateur wrestling skills and stuff too. Yeah. And he's a big guy. Yeah. So even the other guys in the fight.
Mero, he was at the boxing background.
Boxing background.
Godfather was in there.
Yeah, Godfather. all those guys, Godfather Draws, all those guys. They're big guys that are athletic. Mm-hmm. So anybody that's big and athletic has a puncher's chance. Yeah. It's the way it goes. Yeah. So, but Bart's probably right about that. And then Bart ended up catching all those guys with that 11 hook. I was laughing. I'm like, oh, okay. I would have liked to have fought Bart. I thought that would have been interesting. Yeah. But I get along with Bart well.
Yeah. He was telling us that the day of the fight that he had with Doc, that he was willing to work the match. And he kept asking the guys, like, well, do you want me to put him over? And he said a lot of the agents would go up to him and get him riled up as far as, just planning stuff in his head. And Doc said this or whatever. Did you get that vibe that like the agents were like riling you guys up or anything?
Well, when I fought Mark, a couple of them said some stuff to me. I don't want to go into the great detail on that evening, but yeah, once I realized it was a shootout there, now I know what all that was about. Yeah. Okay. Wow. And then after all that, he wound up getting knocked out by Butterbean and then leaving the company. Yeah. Well, Bart should have stuck with what he was doing in the beginning. Mm-hmm. For one, he's a good wrestler. he hasn't been throwing hands for 10 years at that point like Butterbean was. You're stepping in and doing the thing Butterbean's the best at.
Yeah.
Well, shoot on him.
Yeah.
I know you want to prove a point, but he tried to turn himself into a boxer in that period of time. And you either have good boxing skills and you're quick with your hands and you can slip punches and move, or you don't.
Yeah.
And he was better at brawling. It was like he should have just shot, punch. He should have just kept on doing things like that. But if you stand there and just try to outbox a guy who's been doing that, to make his living, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And I think if I remember right, he said that he wound up fighting Bob Holly in one of the rounds, and that the two of them made an agreement beforehand that they weren't going to punch each other.
They weren't going to take each other down.
They weren't. Okay. I remember it was one or the other.
Yep. I do know that because Bob told me that. They agreed that they're going to just stand there and slug it out.
Okay.
There wasn't anything fixed about it. They just decided to slug it out. And Bob got lucky that he kept his hands at his chin because, Bart could throw some pretty good hooks. Yeah. But yeah, they actually stood there and just slugged it out.
Yeah. Was the office aware of your Muay Thai background before they put you in there, or do you think they were kind of surprised?
Well, I mean, they knew I could kick and stuff like that. And I had done, and I had even done some jiu-jitsu for a few years before I went back in WWF. Mm-hmm. So with I had done boxing, I had done karate most of my life from age 13 through college, through working at Florida. So I had about 10 years of Kempo and Shotokan and boxing and stuff under my belt. Yeah. So, but I mean, like, I'm sure a couple of them knew because I used to just bang the heavy bags if we'd won, in some of the arenas and stuff like that. But, but like a lot of the guys were pretty athletic. Mm. But, like I said, some of them were still pretty good shooters. Some of them were with their hands. The kicking just happened to be, what I like the best is leg kicking. Yeah. And I always felt comfortable with my hands too. But I don't know. I still dislike the fact that we even did the Brawl for all, if you want my honest opinion. Yeah. I mean, all the guys in there were pretty tight, and you're trying to put on a good show, and all of a sudden you're stuck out there to, punch out. If I have a good reason, I don't care, who you are. But I mean, like when you're your friends, you don't have a reason. You're going out there and beating up your friends, and I see that because like a lot of my guys in my MMA school compete, and I'm like, I will never have them paired up against each other because we're in here to make each other better, mm-hmm. and that's the way we train. And it just seems funny being put in the ring with guys that you're trying to do well with, and now you're out there to try to knock them out. Yeah. If they say something to make you mad, okay, what makes it easier? But I'm just saying, it's like I've seen that before, and I just didn't think it was a good concept. None of the guys did. I don't know if they'll ever come on here and say that.
Bart didn't. He didn't think it was a good concept either.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know none of the other guys liked it. They all had the same opinion on it we did. Yeah. But at the time, it's like, well, open your mouth, you just go out and do it, and that's what we're doing. Yeah. It's not like we sat around and bitched about it all night. I mean, just for 5 minutes, I'm like, why are you guys be like, why are we doing this? And that's the end of the conversation, and go out and do it. But I know now I'm cared for it. Wow.
Were you around the monitor when Bart took out Doc, or? Because Bart was saying that some of the guys were like all around the monitor when he was fighting Doc.
Oh yeah, when there's different things going on, that's the curtain call, so to speak, where everybody's either at the curtain or the monitor watching what's going on. You could be a new guys match, and you're like, oh my god, you gotta watch this. This is gonna be the drizzle and shits tonight, or something different like the box match. So yeah, most of those things the guys watch. Yeah. And when you go backstage, you won't see them because they'll all take it off, but
yeah. And I guess WWE, they must have agreed with you because they've never done anything like that since. So I guess they must be in agreement with you.
Well, do you know why? I don't know if this is exactly how it went, but when we did that Brawl for All, I don't know if they announced to the crowd or told them ahead of time what the rules were and what the premise is behind this whole thing, like what you're supposed to do. I don't think anybody in the crowd knew.
I don't think so either.
So when they watched it, they're like, well, it went over like a fart in church because nobody knew what we were supposed to be doing in there. Yeah. I think if they knew that you get points for this, points for that, and it's a tournament and so on, I think it would have gone over a little better. But, people are like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah.
TitleMatchNetwork.com